FMSPW resources and courses. Before we have a look at that, just to mention that further maths is on the rise in Wales. We overtook England in 2020 and we've maintained that in 2021 for entries. And since 2020, A-level maths numbers have increased by 10.6% and further maths by 12.4%. And the number of girls awarded in A-level maths has increased by 9% and for further maths by 18%. Also, just to recognise the importance of further maths, quote here from Daniel Narain from Benglis Comprehensive: "Studying further maths led to an improvement in my math skills as well as helped developing analytical and problem-solving skills. I would encourage others to study further maths, especially if they're considering studying science or maths to a higher level. As well as having important content, it teaches you valuable problem-solving skills vital for the sciences and in general." Now, we have a lot of resources and courses for you, and this is a list of them, and we'll have a quick look at each as we go through. You may be interested in the views and downloads we've had over the COVID period. The broken down figures are there in the table. You can pause and have a look if you're interested. But the headline figures are that between the start of our YouTube channel and the other day, we'd had almost 18,000 YouTube views. And from the start of lockdown to the other day, we'd had almost 28,000 accesses of our Dropbox, the majority of which were downloads. So that's resources being downloaded by teachers for using. We're also now a trusted publisher for the Hub, and we're gradually adding access to all our student-facing resources to the Hub. You can see here we've started off with our exam question revision videos, and we are gradually adding more. We've launched our new website at the end of the summer, and we're aiming to make this the first stop for maths teachers in Wales. On there you can find events, resources, professional learning, student futures and Welsh mathematics, and you can also find a place on there to register with us, which gives you access to all the resources. And when you go to the website, this is what you'll see with those tabs at the top. And the important thing that we've added now is that we have these posts for things that are happening. So there's the professional learning update for this year, and there's a press release, but there are dozens of these posts to do with all sorts of stuff we do. And here are some examples from our teachers page of professional learning opportunities and so on. We also now have an area of the website which is for teachers only. When you register, you'll receive a password which will get you through here and then into here, which has teaching resources, professional learning resources and so on, and we are adding to that as we go. We also are putting stuff out more on Twitter now, so if you are a Twitterer, then you might want to follow us, and then you'll get notice of professional learning opportunities, resources being released, etc. We put a fully resourced scheme of work out some time ago. This covers Mathematics A-level and further Mathematics A-level. We have been adding to that. The philosophy behind our scheme of work can be summarised thus. We believe in teaching mathematics, not just teaching to the exam, supporting teachers and students in overcoming practical difficulties. It's built with connection in mind, a focus on mastery, putting proof at the heart of the syllabus, utilising appropriate technology and serving teachers. You can register via our website as mentioned earlier, and that will give you access to these folders, and there's a list of folders there that show you what is in our scheme of work. Also, if you register with us, you'll get access to integral resources. You only get free access to the further maths modules with further maths sport programme registration. We have translated it all into Welsh. You can see some of the other modules, the further maths modules mainly there actually, and some of the straight maths ones, and you have to buy licenses for full access. Flipped classroom videos and PowerPoints, we released the full set, and here is a clip from one of the videos, speeded up to save you time and for a bit of fun.
Anyway, one or two more examples. Well, we'll have a look at the picture of that one actually first. So that is a quintic, quin for 5, and it looks like that. Another example, we have x cubed minus x plus 4, which you may recognise as a cubic, and they can look like that. That's a cubic. And then we have our old favourite 3x squared minus 5x minus 2, which is of course a quadratic and looks something like that. And notice how many peaks and troughs each of these has. If we look at the quintic, we've got 2 peaks and 2 troughs, so 4 peaks and troughs altogether.
This shows the PowerPoints which you also can gain access to if you register with us, and the idea of that is that you may want to use them to make your own flipped videos or to use them for classroom resources even. The flipped classroom videos and PowerPoints have just been released, the final ones, which has been a fairly long process but speeded up over COVID. And there's a quote there from Near Jones from Usgolbro Tafi, and if you want to pause it to have a read of that, you may of course. There's another clip here, this is from the Maths A2, and again is speeded up for a bit of fun.
Edrych yn nawr ar gyffidio sy'n dangos graff y yn hawl a sin x plus cos x gyda a yn amrywio o minus 5 I plus 5. Felly dim ond cyfernod o flaen y sin sydd gyda ni. Felly dyma ni, a ni'n newid cyfernod a chi'n gweld mae'r osgled, y faint mae'n mynd I fyny a faint mae'n mynd lawr, yn newid, ond hefyd mae'r siap yn mynd peth i'r dde neu peth i'r chwith, mae'n mynd trwy'r pwynt yma. A mae'r siap yn mynd tyma bach i'r wyth neu i'r dde. Y cyfnod, maen nhw'n galw hwnna, felly mae'r cyfnod a'r osgled yn newid. Mae'n newid gwerth cyfernod sin x yn dal yn gadael ni gyda cromlin sin, bod yr osgled, sef amplitude yn Saesneg, pwy mae'r beth mae'n mynd mas a mewn, yn newid a'r cyfnod yn symud. Mae'n mynd symud bach nôl neu ymlaen.
We also have made a course for additional maths in Desmos, which is available to teachers, and you just get in touch with us if you want to get hold of that, or go to the website. And you can see there it's fully translated of course, and there are some of the trigonometry ones. This shows a resource from the Additional Maths Desmos where you match the functions to the graphs, and I should mention that we have been running professional learning for Desmos and no doubt will continue to do so. Also, you can see on this slide that the lessons are set up with various activities. If you want to look at them in detail, you could pause and have a look at the way that it goes through the lesson. But we'll just look at a little clip of one, and this is where the point P is being dragged across and the students can see what's happening to the tangent line and therefore what's the progression of the gradient for this curve. Bridging and reinforcement. Over COVID we made a few projects to do with this, and there are AS mathematics reinforcement videos which can also be used as a Year 11 to Year 12 bridging course, and there are AS further maths reinforcement videos which can be used similarly for students who are interested in further maths. There's also bridging from further maths AS to A2, so this is a useful possibility in the summer term, perhaps for Year 12 further mathematicians going into Year 13, or it can be used for full year further maths students. For A-level revision, we produced a set of exam question revision videos for Maths A-level, and as well as showing a model answer, the aim of the videos is to use questions to develop learners' understanding by giving alternative solutions, digging deeper into the topic, connecting to prior learning, using GeoGebra and so on. And there's also a column showing which topics are covered and which additional aspects are looked at in each video, as you can see here. So for the question on modulus equations, there are both cases are considered critical points and the squaring solutions, and there are GeoGebras showing both solutions, and so on. And there are 3 papers for AS and 1 for A2. Also within A-level revision, there are further mathematics A-level revision videos, and these are sets of videos for each paper which cover the basics of the theory, then use exam questions to revise applying that theory, and they cover the whole of the courses. We do a lot of enrichment. We have careers talks which you may well already have had people from FMSPW delivering in schools, and there are now videos on YouTube if that's difficult to arrange. There's Key Stage 4 problem solving. For this, the resources are available to teachers, but it's also we offer to come in and do sessions on it for Year 9, 10, 11. For Key Stage 5 problem solving, we have the old SUMP course, which is now called Problem Solving, and that also leads into preparing for STEP, AEA and MAT examinations, and these are offered online to students at the moment. There's also bridging programs, and that's a number of different programs. Key Stage 5 to university, we had one called Mathematical Worlds for expanding students' view of mathematics, and these are offered periodically online to students. Tuition. In an ideal world, every Key Stage 5 setting in Wales would be able to offer further maths in-house. But we and the government realise that for many reasons this isn't always possible, so to counter that we offer tuition to those learners unable to access the course in their own institutions. Further maths is funded in the same way as every other A-level offered by an institution. A tuition fee per module per student applies to students receiving tuition from Further Maths Support Programme Wales. The tuition fees are paid by the learner's host institution or the relevant local authority and not the student. And Further Maths attracts funding in exactly the same way as any other AS-A2 qualification. In terms of the teaching, modules Further Maths 1 and 4 both have 22 hours for tuition, and the remaining modules have 16 hours. The modules have a staggered start to ensure the students don't have too much work at the beginning of the course, and as well as the tuition, students have extra support in terms of study days, revision sessions and online revision materials and videos. We often use a flipped approach, so there are often videos that the students need to watch between lessons and take notes from, etc. We hold an orientation session at the beginning of October, and this serves two purposes: for the students to meet the tutors and have information about each of the modules that they'll study, and for the students to meet each other. And tuition then commences in mid-October. In terms of arranging tuition for students, at the moment we ask schools to register interest towards the end of the summer term, send names of the students at the beginning of the autumn term, and this gives us time to complete all the paperwork prior to commencing teaching mid-October. We are able to handle late entries, but it's much better if you can follow this procedure. We do a lot of professional learning. During the autumn term we're doing Further Maths AS Unit 1 Pure, Introduction to Teaching A-Level Maths AS, Desmos and GeoGebra. In the spring and summer we'll be doing Further Maths A2 Unit 4 Pure and Unit 2 from the AS, which is Statistics, also Maths A2 Units 3 and 4, GCSE for non-specialist teachers, GeoGebra, Connections in Maths and so on. All the PL sessions will be recorded and made available with tutor support for colleagues who are unable to attend, and you can also order bespoke PL, which means you can get it specific to your requirements, face-to-face or online, and there are details of how to organise that on the website. In the next academic year we have plans to do Further Maths AS Unit 3, Further Maths A2 Units 5 and 6, Additional Maths, Teaching Problem Solving Approaches in Key Stage 3 and 4, and so on. And it's worth hearing from real teachers. Emma Pugh from Porthcawl Comprehensive School had bespoke training. We have had bespoke training on topics that we have requested, and we have been able to train up all our staff. Stuart Ball from Carillon Comprehensive School said, "I have a much deeper knowledge of the course and feel confident to tackle many topics from several different approaches." You'll see I've mentioned earlier about the posts on the website, and here's a selection of them: Intermediate GeoGebra in Welsh, Proof Workshop, Desmos course, Further Maths Unit 1, and next to that is what happens if you click on one of those posts. It gives you the details and how to book and so on. We do a fair bit of pure and action research. Previous research, which some of you may have been involved in, was the flipped classroom approach, and connected curricula and a 3D curriculum. And you can see on the right there we've published a number of papers on this and presented at a number of conferences. We've also done research on COVID impacts, pedagogy and factors to do with choosing further maths, and again there's a list of the papers, and all those details are on our website, of course. Our current research is into implementing a connected curriculum in mathematics and further mathematics A level, and so it's looking at the order of teaching so as to put topics that aren't directly connected but are mathematically connected together. And there are places available on that research, and I'd be delighted if any of you were to contact me regarding that. Do register via our website in case I haven't mentioned that, and do contact us with any requests, thoughts, ideas. We're always glad to hear from you, and thank you very much for listening.